Very sorry to wake you up, Watson, but it's the common lot this morning. Mrs. Hudson has been awake, and she retorted upon me, and I upon you.
What is it then? A fire?
No, a client. A young lady has arrived in a state of considerable distress, wishing to see me. She's in the hall. My name's Josh Hitchens. I graduated from Arcadia University in 2007, and I've been the creative director here at the Ebenezer Maxwell Mansion since 2008, and I play Sherlock Holmes.
My name is Jason Grabowski. I'm a 2007 graduate of Arcadia University, major in theater. I have been Dr. Watson in 2 productions now, The Speckled and The Study in Scarlet. Before that, I got my start at the Mansion doing the murder mystery to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Civil War.
I first found out about the Ebenezer Maxwell Mansion from the Theatre Alliance website. Diane Richardson, who's the artistic executive director here actually, was looking for a writer-director for the murder mystery event they have here every year, which is an interactive show that happens around Halloween. And I came here to interview for the job and fell in love with the house. I was just amazed with how it looked and its history, and I got the job. I think probably because one of the reasons because I was so excited about the place itself and its history, and I've been here ever since.
I actually found out about the Mansion to come see Josh when he was doing the one-man show of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and my wife and I came, I believe it was in the spring, and we saw the show, and we were just amazed sort of by the power that the performances held in the structure, in the building, in this very room actually. And so I had spoken to Josh and said, if there's anything coming up in the future, we'd both like to be a part of it.
For me, the best part of working here at the Mansion is just the environment that you get to do theater performances in, because we always do things that are set in the era of Victorian times, from the time the Mansion was built in 1859 to Queen Victoria's death. So if you're doing something like a Sherlock Holmes or Dracula or a Dickens performance, you're in that actual environment where the events took place. You're in the world. You have no set design could duplicate the atmosphere that the Mansion has.
I can speak as someone who's come as an audience member and come as a performer. There's a sort of leftover period from another time, and so walking up the path and then into the building and then into the rooms, it sort of does cut you off from, you sort of are stepping back in time. And I think that's really cool. And all the set pieces, all the a lot of the things that we use from the Mansion are of the period, and so it really is more authentic than I think you could even get in a lot of staged productions. And there's also an intimacy with the audience because we're in the parlor. It's not necessarily the largest room, but it works. And I've been told that by audience members that they were on the edge of their seat because it's so intense in that they feel like they're right along with us for the ride. And I think that's something special.
Sherlock Holmes last year was the first Holmes novel, A Study in Scarlet. And with that, we partnered with the amazing Mutter Museum in Philadelphia, one of the most unique museums in America. And last year for Study in Scarlet, they lent us a Victorian doctor's bag with all the things in it that Dr. Watson would have had, and a vial of prescribed cocaine that Holmes would have had, and things like that. And that was all on display in the library here in the Mansion, so it was an additional thing that people got to see, seeing the play and then seeing these artifacts that the characters would have actually used and that Conan Doyle would have known. And we are partnering with the Mutter Museum again this year for the Speckled Band, but I am not allowed to reveal to you exactly what is going to be on display because it will give away some of the plot, but it's going to be very exciting. I think doing this play and all of the theater work we do at the Mansion is very important, and it's something that I've always cared a lot about, and really why I wanted to work here in the first place is there's so much great literature that comes from the Victorian era. It was such a fascinating period in history with such contrast. You have people in very high society living very rich, very privileged lives, and then you have this very dark underside to that where people were in extreme poverty, and you have the Industrial Revolution. So there's all these things going on that produce these great works and great authors like Conan Doyle and Charles Dickens and people like Bram Stoker as well. And to do their work and keeping most of the original text of the pieces we adapt is something we always do. I think that really serves to honor the writer and bring them back to life in a setting that is the setting they would have been in. I heard an audience member talking once, I think, after A Christmas Carol one year, and they said if they felt like they were in a Victorian parlor in a salon back then, and there was just this performance going on. So it's a really amazing environment to really bring classic things back to life and make them new
Some
again.
facts should be suppressed. For instance, observation lets me know that you went to the post office last night, but deduction tells me that when there you dispatched a telegram.
Right on both points. But I confess that I don't see how you arrived at it. It was a sudden impulse upon my part, and I've mentioned it to no one.
It is simplicity itself. It is so simple that explanation is superfluous. Observation tells me that you have a bit of reddish earth on the insole of your shoe. Now, just opposite the post office, they have taken up a bit of the pavement and thrown up some earth. That earth is of a curiously reddish tint found, to my knowledge, nowhere else in the neighborhood. The rest is deduction.
How, then, did you deduce the telegram?
Why, I sat opposite you all yesterday, so I knew that you had not written a letter. But I observe in your desk there is a sheet of stamps and a thick bundle of postcards. Eliminate every other factor, and the one which remains must be the truth.